So my dad loved sports, baseball, football, and basketball to a lesser degree. So I grew up, just Cuban household, just very close to my family. And so sports was always a bonding opportunity with me and my father, right? My dad was my first baseball coach. I played baseball all my life. I played basketball and just all types of sports I played, and was fortunate enough to get a partial scholarship my freshman year in college to play baseball for St. Thomas University. Now, that was short-lived. It's kind of a long story, but I fell out of love with the game. I knew I didn't necessarily have the tools to make it to the big leagues, and so I decided to transfer schools, and that was the end of my baseball career. But nevertheless, I've learned so much about teamwork, about communication, about hard work, about having the right work ethic, discipline as a result of sports. And now I'm doing my best. My wife and I are doing our best to pass that along to our daughters, who are in, one of them is in competitive dance, the other one's in dance, have done gymnastics. So I've taken away a lot from sports. You might relate to this, whether you like sports or whether you have just anything in particular that you really like that doesn't necessarily feel productive or doesn't feel like it serves you. There was a time not too long ago, maybe a couple of years ago or so, 2-3 years ago, I remember having some coaching calls with my personal coach, sharing with him how there was a level of guilt that I was attaching to how much time I was spending on Sunday watching football with my dad. Obviously, that's a terrible return on my time. Just sitting on a couch watching football, like you get nothing out of it. Like what difference does it make whether the Bengals or any other team win or lose? It doesn't affect my life in any way, shape, or form. And I understand that, and I realized it, but I was feeling guilt because I feel like I should be using that time more productive. I could be doing anything with that time, spending that time with my family, traveling, being out and about, working out, whatever, any number of things that are more productive than watching sports. Now, just it's important to note that I'm grateful that I have the opportunity to spend a lot of time with my family, and I do a lot of traveling. So I never felt that I was doing that at the expense of them. But nevertheless, there was a period of time where I was just feeling a little bit of guilty. And then I realized just a good coach, what he does is ask a lot of questions, and he helps identify and get out of you probably what you already know. And so we started to dig deep, and I realized that that time on Sundays had multiple benefits for me. Number one, it was an opportunity to spend some time with my dad. It was an opportunity for me to go to my parents' house, hang out with them, spend some time with them, have lunch with them. Usually we'd have breakfast, we'd go to church, we'd watch the game, we'd have lunch, followed by dinner. Like it was just like an all-day event for us. And I also realized that I had the opportunity to disconnect from, almost turn off my brain to a certain degree. And now at the time, I actually thought that was a negative. I was thinking to myself, like, I love my life. Doesn't mean I don't have challenges. Doesn't mean, it's all perfect. Far from it. But why would I need this to disconnect from it? And then I realized that it was actually healthy for me. And that's how I see it. It was, so whatever you like, whatever you're drawn to, I have several buddies of mine that love playing golf, and they play golf 2, 3, sometimes 4 times a week. If you've ever played golf, it's a 4, it could be a 4-hour event, 5 hours, if you factor in travel time. I mean, it's pretty much half a day or so. I mean, it can eat up a significant portion of your time. And that was their, I don't know if outlet is the right word, but they just enjoyed it so much that one of them even told me, I think freely when I'm out there. I feel my creative juices flowing. I feel like I come back up. And now, you might think, well, that's complete BS, right? But for him, he truly believed that. And so the first takeaway I have for you is, if there's something you like, and it's not unhealthy for you, right? Like if you like drinking and you like smoking and you like something that is severely going to affect your health, short-term and or long-term, well, then obviously that's not a healthy vice, right? But if it's something that you feel can help you recharge, reset, ask yourself what benefits is it serving. Now, if you can't find any benefits, then maybe it's something you want to reconsider. You may just really like to watch sports, right? But then consider there's an opportunity cost for the time that you're spending doing that or doing anything else relative to what you could be doing. But if you're going to do it, make a conscious choice. it doesn't serve you to feel guilty about it. And that's what I had to kind of learn the hard way, that, hey, if I chose to do this, it was a conscious choice and I believed in the benefits. And if anything, I wanted to spend more time with my dad. Now, I will tell you that I used to on Sundays, it was like all about watching football with my dad. Now that's not the case. Now I might watch, I watch the Bengals and that's about it. I don't even watch Sunday night games, Monday night games, Thursday night games, nothing like that, right? So I've significantly decreased the amount of time I watch, spending time watching football, because quite honestly, I don't want to be on a couch all day watching football. Like, that's just not my idea of fun. But at one point in my life, it was. So don't feel guilty about the things that you desire, right? It's out there, and so you can have it. Now, I think it's important that you don't put the things that are most important to you. You don't sacrifice your core values, or you don't make, you have to be a good steward of your money. You don't make stupid financial decisions. You don't go into debt for experiences that you necessarily can't afford, and let that drive you and fuel you. If there's certain things you want, don't feel guilty about it. If there's a car you want to get, if there's a vacation you want to go on, if there's a house you want to buy, if there's a watch you want to buy, like, if that's important to you, fantastic. Like, I'm not here to demonize that in any way, shape, or form. I like nice things too. But make sure that you're being a good steward of your money. And if you're not in a position where you can afford some of those things, always ask yourself, how can I afford this? One of the things that has just really, really, I've been reminded of over the course of the last year and a half, is that I don't measure everything based on ROI, based on return on investment. But in fact, these days I measure things more on ROH, return on happiness. And so while that money is not a return on my investment, number one, it can be if I think the right way. If I ask myself the right questions and I ask myself, how can I turn this liability into an asset? And I'm already thinking of ways to do that. And I'll share with you on future episodes what I decide and what I come up with. But what's the return? This money, what kind of return on my happiness is it going to give me?